It works really well, especially for people who consider themselves realists and who say, hey, what I'm thinking that's causing this anxiety or this depression is real. And I'm not going to get into toxic positivity or tricking myself into thinking that certain things are not true when they are. I decided to hop on here and chat with you guys while I do my nails today. I'm getting ready to go hang out with my fiance. We're going to go to the Houston Farmers Market, and I thought I would just hop on here and chat with you guys while I do my nails real quick with my favorite nail polish, the Insta Dry, that I can do like on my way out the door. Today, I wanted to talk about a conversation that I had with my daughter recently that brought to mind a method that I use to kind of manifest the situations that I want, especially if I've been in kind of a pessimistic mood and not really believing in the things that I should be believing in order for my manifestation to come to pass. Just the other day, my daughter had kind of a breakdown, and I had noticed she had been becoming like increasingly upset over a few weeks, like she hadn't been sleeping well or waking up on time for school and doing her usual morning routine. And I asked her what the issue was. And she started a job a couple months ago. And I know it's been really stressful for her. So she's diagnosed with ADHD. And it's really hard for her to focus. But she wanted this job because she wanted to have her own money to spend. Anyway, I asked her what's been going on, and she has this total meltdown. And she starts talking about how she feels so stressed and how hard life is, basically, and how she needs this job and she needs this money. And she's just having this crisis of basically coming to the realization that in order to have money, you have to be providing some sort of value, working or providing some sort of other value. As she's going down the list of the reasons why she's having all this anxiety, I stop her on her spiral and I say to her that at any given moment, there are thousands or really an infinite number of things that are true. It is true that you need money. It is true that things are expensive. It is true that it's not always fun to work for money. But what's also true is that right now, I was sitting there with her and my mom. I said, right now, you're safe. You have everything you need. You have food to eat downstairs in the kitchen. You have a bed to sleep in. You have clothes to wear to school tomorrow. You have a mom who's fully able to provide for you. Those things are also true. I explained to her that in any given moment, being present with yourself and recognizing that although maybe the things that you're anxious about are true, there are also a lot of other true things that you can choose to focus on in the moment to kind of shift your perspective. In that conversation, she was able to calm down quite a bit, and it really kind of reset her. And it's a technique that I use often in my life when I can remember to do it. But it's called the many things are true approach. And it works really well, especially for people who consider themselves realists and who say, hey, what I'm thinking that's causing this anxiety or this depression is real. And I'm not going to get into toxic positivity or tricking myself into thinking that certain things are not true when they are. So the many truths technique acknowledges that there is truth to a lot of what causes our anxiety, causes our negative emotion, and sometimes causes us to focus on things that we don't want to create. And we all know that our thoughts create our reality. But this technique acknowledges that what you're thinking about is true, but it also opens you up to the reality that there are other true things that you can think about to get yourself out of a certain state. So the way that I recommend using this approach is kind of to dig yourself out of a negative spiral of thinking. And what I would do first, when I'm caught in a negative thought spiral and feeling like, the world is caving in on me or I can't manifest what I want to manifest, is first I identify the thoughts, because a lot of times we get into these anxious modes, like in my daughter's case, because we're having these thoughts and we're not even allowing them to come to the surface. So they're just playing on repeat in the back of our mind, giving us anxiety, but we haven't really acknowledged them or brought them to the forefront. So the first thing I do is bring those thoughts to the forefront, right? I identify the negative thoughts. Then I acknowledge the truth in them, and I come up with a way to address them. So for certain things that are giving you anxiety, you will have the power to do something, take a small step, make a change, and bringing the thought to the forefront, it also allows you to generate ideas about exactly what that change needs to be. So I bring the thoughts to the forefront. Then I identify a step I can take or a solution I can implement. Like in my daughter's case, when she was anxious about working, I let her know, hey, the job is optional. You really don't have to do it. It was never a necessity, because she had somehow convinced herself that she absolutely had to have this job to survive, and that just wasn't the case. Sometimes there is nothing that you can do about a particular situation that's causing you anxiety or angst or depression, but you can acknowledge that there's nothing that you can do in the moment, and you can choose a different thought anyway. So the first thing is laying out the ruminating thoughts, laying out what it is that's causing the angst, creating quick solutions that you can implement and start to focus on, or just acknowledging that there's nothing you can change about the situation. Then after that, what I will typically do is just focus on my current reality, like become really mindful. So I'll focus on my five senses. What do I feel? What sensations am I having? Is it cold in here? Is it hot in here? And then I'll move on to my eyes. Like, what can I see around me? What colors do I see? How are they making me feel? Do I need to make any adjustments? Then I, focus on taste, and even whether or not I feel hungry. Sometimes that could be part of the problem. And I just go through the process of addressing all my senses and checking in to see where I am. Typically, every time I do this, really, the conclusion is that I'm safe. I may be a little uncomfortable, and I can address that. If I'm cold, I get a blanket. If I'm hot, I take something off. But then I get myself calmed down, and then I have my solutions to address the things that are causing me anxiety. Usually those things are enough to like get me out of the funk and get me moving in a more positive direction towards the things that I do want to create. I said all that to say, if you're currently in a state where your thoughts are causing you anxiety, or you're feeling depressed, or you're feeling overwhelmed or overloaded, get the feelings out, get the thoughts out. What is it that you're repeatedly thinking that's causing the fear or the sadness to rise up in you? After acknowledging that, ask yourself, for each of those items that you identify, what step can I take to begin to alleviate this, or to begin to address this thing that I'm thinking about? And then after that, acknowledge the things that you can't change, and then choose a different true thought. Many things can be true at the same time. I think one major thing that gets us caught up in a spiral of negative thinking is black and white thinking, thinking that things are either black or white. And the truth is, we live in a spectrum of reality, which means even when it comes down to what's true and what's not true, many things can be true at the same time. Think about the true things that support what it is that you want to create in your life. Think about the true things that make you feel better about your situation. Think about the true thing that vote for the reality that you want versus reality that you don't want. I read somewhere, I think it was Atomic Habits, about how every thought and every action is like a vote for the version of yourself that you are becoming. So if you have a vision in your mind of who it is that you want to become, and then you take an action that doesn't support that, you have to ask yourself whether you're casting votes for the version of yourself that you want to be, or whether you're casting votes against the version of yourself that you want to be. We can apply this in every area, and whatever truth we select in the moment, ask ourselves whether or not that's a vote for what we're trying to create, or a vote against what we're trying to create. One thing I want to say to those of you who watch my videos is that the reason I do this is because during the darkest times in my life, when I was overcome with anxiety and overcome with negative thoughts, voting against the reality that I wanted, there were certain content creators that were my saving grace. It was just so soothing to be able to turn on my television and cast YouTube and just listen to these people who I resonated with, make me feel less alone and open my mind up to new possibilities around how I could move through the world. Whenever I feel tempted to just give up on this YouTube thing because I'm not the most consistent, I always come back to it, because even if it's just one person that clicks on my video and finds comfort and hope and something that helps to shift their life in a positive direction, it's absolutely worth the time and the effort to put these videos out there. Please subscribe, like this if you found it helpful. Thanks for watching.